Hello, welcome to the Utah Assistive Technology Program's online training, High-Tech Assistive Technology for the Blind. Just a few business items to go over before we turn the time over to Carl Smith, our presenter today. My name's Heather Young. I work with the Utah Assistive Technology Program. And just to make you aware, if you would like to ask questions during Carl's presentation, please click on the link in the upper left-hand corner of your screen where it says UATP Ask a Question link. And you'll be able to log in and type in a question through the chat feature. And once that's typed in, I will read that to Carl so that he can answer your question right when you ask it. Also, if you end up having to leave early, please fill out the evaluation form that I emailed out to you yesterday, or you can also access the evaluation form by clicking on the link also in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. It says UATP AT Demonstration Evaluation Form, and the return instructions are on the form, and those will be returned to me, Heather Young at UATP. And thanks for attending today, and with that, we will turn the time over to Carl.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's a different experience for me. I've only done this sort of thing once before, but I'm happy to do it today, and I'm happy that you folks are here. I am the owner and operator of a company in Salt Lake City called Axis, A-X-I-S. The reason I named it that is because I think there are three things that need to come together whenever you want to have success for people with disabilities, particularly visually impaired or blind. That is, you need the people, the technology that they need, and the knowledge to use it. One of the problems that we run into in this business, and I guess it's in any of the assistive technology fields, is that sometimes we buy technology and we don't necessarily know why we bought it or what we need it for, but we think we probably should have it. And sometimes it doesn't get used, and that's really discouraging because you spend a lot of money on it, and even if I am happy that I sold it to you, I'm still not happy that it's not being used. So my goal is to try to help people to understand what the technology is and what it will do for you as a blind person or your students or clients or whatever. I'm not sure of the makeup of this audience today, so I want to just tell you about some things that I brought with me. There are, I'm sure, more things than we'll have a chance to really go through and show, but I want you to get at least an understanding of some of them, and then we can ask, you can ask questions toward the end, and or anytime. I suppose if you have a real burning question, if you want to ask it. If I'm wandering off into the weeds somewhere, please ask me the question, and we can try to get the answers in. I have with me my laptop on which are a number of pieces of software. Right now I'm running a screen reader. A screen reader, for those who may not know, is a piece of software which allows a blind person to listen to what is on the screen, or in the case of those who want to do so, also read what's on the screen. With that, you can write documents and read them back in Braille if you want to proofread the document. This is very useful for blind people who use Braille as their primary mode of communication or for reading and writing. It's also good for deafblind people who can't listen to the computer. Oh, that's Sachin, I think, that's making that sound, not me. I was thinking that was me.
Sorry, Carl.
I'm going to just move around a little bit on my desktop here. Now, I assume you can hear that. I can hear it. This is the desktop. I am just arrowing around as I would if I wanted to find something on the desktop. The program I'm running is called JAWS, J-A-W-S. It stands for Job Access with Speech. I also have with me today, let me just finish up something I guess I sort of skipped over a bit. I've got a couple of other devices with me which we can talk about. I have a scanning device, or it's a camera device called the iPal, which is plugged into my computer. It's a portable device that you can stuff in your laptop case, and then you can take it out at the library or whatever, plug it into your computer, and it will take a picture and read things for you. It's really good for college students or people who are on the go who need something to be able to read large quantities of text material. I also have in my pocket this device, which I suppose you can see this, but this is a cell phone which has on it a piece of software called the KNFB Reader. We may get to that. It's been a little stubborn today. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes it works perfectly, and I'm happy with it. Sometimes I don't understand why it doesn't. So, but it is another software package that will take a picture of a document and read it back to you. So I've used this thing all over the world in traveling around, reading ferry boat tickets or hotel receipts or other things. It's really good for people who are on the go when you can't take something home to your scanner and plug it in and actually read it. I also have with me, which is a small device, and if I hold these up, is this reasonable or not if I hold this up? Can people see this, or does it need to be over there?
We can see it.
Okay. This is called the Victor Stream. The Victor Stream is a portable reading device. It is a device that lets you download audio and text material and have it read to you. I have something over 100 books on this one right now, and some of them are very long, so you can have a lot of reading material on there, and I can let you hear that later on if you want to do that too. And if people have questions about these, please say so. This is another one called the Book Sense, which is fairly new. It is similar to the Victor Stream, obviously a little bit smaller. It reads audio books, also read text documents, read Word documents, and we can show you that as well. So let me talk to you a little bit about the computer screen reader. I have two screen readers on my computer right now. The one I'm using currently is called JAWS. That's a program which you buy and load onto your computer like you would Office or any other piece of software. It is it is the most popular screen reading program in the world. It's got about 85% of the market share in the world right now. Although there are other products out there which can serve a good market too, and I will show you another one of those in a few minutes. JAWS is really designed for a person who wants really full access to the computer, plus have the ability to really customize and do some things that will help your productivity. It really is job access with speech. It means that the idea is to help you be productive and to get your work done in a manner which will get your job done and keep you on the job and not have you lose one. However, there are other things around, and we'll talk about that, for people who just want to do some email, maybe get on the net, maybe send a letter to the grandkids or whatever, or somebody who's moving around a lot and who doesn't have the money it takes to buy a copy of JAWS. The price for a standard copy of JAWS is $850. The price for a professional copy of JAWS is $1,095. So this sort of stuff can add up. These things do add up to money. I also have with me a couple of note takers, which we may not get to today, but you can at least see what they are. One of them is sitting right out here at the end here. I'll just pick it up and let you see it. Again, we have a lot of material to cover in an hour and a half, so we may not get to all this. But this is called a PackMate. This is basically it's a pocket PC. Now it's rather large for a pocket PC, but it is, and it runs Windows CE. It runs actually Windows 6.1 mobile, which is on most of the PDAs now. This has a Braille display, as you see at the bottom here. This one has a Braille keyboard, meaning the input is done with Braille. We also make one of these same modules that has a QWERTY keyboard, so if you prefer to input using a regular typewriter keyboard, you can do that. The advantage to this unit is if I decided I really wish I had a QWERTY keyboard, I can take this Braille display right off of this one, and I can stick it on one that has a QWERTY keyboard. The Braille display is the most expensive part of this device, so if you did happen to have enough money to buy the PackMate to start with and then bought the Braille display later, you can do that and add it, and it won't take all your money at once, just in pieces, and you can call me up and I'll be glad to take it from you. Okay, let me just ask if anybody has any burning questions right at the moment before I get into showing some JAWS and some of the other things. Anybody have anything you really would like to ask about real quick? I take it that's a no, unless there's any text messages coming in or chat messages coming in?
Not right now.
Okay. Now, did everybody leave?
No.
Okay, good. There's still people out there. See, Heather tells me there's people out there, so that's good. Let me talk a little bit about JAWS. I'm running a laptop here which is running Vista, and I am running Outlook.
Windows M.
I'm going to go to my desktop, and that's where I was, and I'm going to arrow around.
System access mobile network. Internet
We'll
Explorer.
get there later.
Your pay.
If I go to my Outlook, for example,
Alt tab. Inbox Microsoft Outlook.
this is Outlook. I mean, this is probably
Inbox
running
Microsoft.
too fast, isn't it? I just thought of that. People complain about the speed at which I run my JAWS.
Select the
Let me
system tray
just,
icon dialog. List box. JAWS for Windows 1 of 1.4. Tab. Right 6 space.
Let me
JAWS
go
context. Utility
slow
submenu.
things
Option
down a
submenu.
little
O.
bit.
Basics D. Enter. Leaving menus. Access keys. Automatically start. Automatically. Run JAWS from system.
Let's
Show
see.
virtual viewer on screen. Use
I
keyboard
went
layout.
the wrong
Combo.
place, didn't I?
Inbox Microsoft Outlook.
I
List
don't
box.
change my speed very often because I typically leave it
Select the
pretty.
system tray icon dialog.
pretty
List box.
fast.
JAWS for Windows 1 of 1.4.
While I'm doing this, I'll tell you now. I just went to the system tray, just so you know, and
Microsoft Office Outlook.
I can arrow up and down my system tray, and I'm assuming you can
JAWS
see
for
my
Windows.
screen here. I'll tab
right single
over.
click button to add space. JAWS context
That's
menu.
how I
to
do a
navigate.
right
Press
click on here,
Utility
and I'll just
submenu.
go down here, and I can
Language submenu. L.
show you my
Help submenu H.
my various menus
Language
here.
help submenu. About ... Exit X. Option submenu O. Basics ... Voices submenu V. Global adjustment ...
I'll
V.
go to the global voice adjustment here.
Enter. Leaving menus. Global voices dialog. Modify default radio button checked. 1 of 2. Tab. Profile. Tab. Synthesizer. Synthesizer name. Tab. Synthesizer language. Combo. Tab. Synthesizer detects app before synthesize. Tab. Voice rate 90. Left right slider.
There's
4
the
5%.
rate.
To increase or decrease use the arrow key. 3 5%. 2 5%.
That's probably a little better.
Enter. No window is active. Press Alt Tab. Desktop. Alt Tab. Desktop. Alt Tab. Inbox Microsoft Outlook.
Now, is that hopefully a little bit better?
Brett Jones FWD. Ryan Strunk
Going
DRL
down my
coordinator scheduling
emails here.
Penny Reader DP review. Ryan Strunk DRL coordinator scheduling.
Let me go ahead and open this one. I know what it is, so I know it's safe. So nobody is saying something secretive. I'll
Enter.
open this email up here.
From
And-
DRL coordinators.
I can let you hear this.
Hello everyone, we are just about halfway through our push to November 1st, and we have been hearing about a number of successes affiliates have had selling coins and space wood.
Okay. Now, I can read that whole message if I want. I can read it a line at a time, a letter at a time,
R-D-E-R space T-O space S.
a word at a time.
Ideas and help.
I can spell the word
H-E-L-P. H-E-L-P.
if I want to do that. I can do pretty much anything I need to do. Now, if you listen here, I'll get out of this message.
Escape. Inbox. Penny Reader. W. Sherry. Mary
go
Emerson.
down here.
Shannon. Stacy. Nolan. Mary. Sub. Joni Calver.
I'm on a lot of
review
lists,
still.
so.
Joni. Shannon. Attachment. Lady 1.
Okay, right here.
Attachment. Michael Hing. Reader.
You hear it said attachment?
Alt space X.
Just
Menu bar.
maximize
Leaving.
that.
Attachment. Michael Hing. Reader. Users online demonstrations of KNFB Reader mobile software and ...
Now, it said attachment. That tells me there's an attachment there. It lets me know that.
Lady 1 2. Attachment message
There's
attack.
another one.
Attachment message.
another one.
Attachment. Robin
There's a
Brown.
bunch.
Unread. General JR. Any of you blind users have an idea of web 9?
Okay, now here is an unread message,
Robin. Unread. General JR. Any of you blind?
and there's no attachment. Now, this happens to be a tweet from Twitter is what this one is. I happen to know that because I'm using a piece of software that lets me read and write Twitter messages through Outlook if I want to do that, which we won't do today. I will now go to Microsoft Word.
Alt Control W.
I have some hotkeys for that. That's just my preferences. And I'll
Document
start this
1
up.
Microsoft Word. Print view. Edit.
Now, I will show you, I can find out things about this document. This is a blank document, obviously, but I can find out things like, what's my font?
10 point. Black. Times New Roman. Normal style. Line spacing. 1 lines. Paragraph formatting. Aligned left. Outline level. Body text.
So it's telling me all the things that I need to know. The font size, the font face. It tells me what my outline level is. All those things. Those are ways to find out, what I need to know about this document if I want to make sure that things are formatted. I can also do.
Black on white.
I can find out the color. This is black on white, which if I could see, I would never have it this color. I can tell you that. because I never liked that sort of color when I had some vision, but I don't care now, so it can stay that way. But I can find out the color, I can tell if it's highlighted, I can do all those kinds of things in JAWS in Word. If I want to center a title, I have a hotkey. I mean, there are actually Word hotkeys for this, and JAWS will tell me.
Centered.
That's the Control-E. That's an Office command, not a JAWS command. That puts it on the center. I can bring it back to the left again with the Control-L.
Aligned left.
Control-R.
Aligned right.
That's for right, all that sort of thing.
Aligned left.
I'm going to
Alt F4.
get out of
Right
this, and I'm going
Inbox,
to
Microsoft.
go to the internet here just to give you a quick example of that.
I unread. Alt Control I.
I'll go. I have a
Windows
hotkey
Internet
for that
Explorer.
too. That's mine again. What I'll do when I get up here.
Personalized settings for this site. Page has one frame, one edit. Golden.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick search here.
Control E. Google Edit. Type in text.
Maybe I'll search for. I don't know how to spell Muammar Gaddafi, so I won't write that. Maybe I'll write scanners.
SCANERS. Enter.
I'll hit enter.
Scanners. Google search. Page has scanners.
Okay, now on the internet, of course, there's different things, and this is one thing I actually really like about JAWS, is it gives me a lot of features. I happen to know, because I've used this a while, that each of the search results on Google now are headings. They did this a few months ago, and I can jump to headings by just typing the letter H now.
Google heading level 1 link. Sponsored links heading photo scanners by Epson Regit. Scanners from Fujitsu head document scanners head document scanner heading HP document.
And I can just do that all the way along, and I can go to links by typing U for unvisited link.
6. Heading level 3 link high speed.
It happens to be a heading also because that's the way they are. I could, if there were visited links, I could type V to go to visited links. If I want to get past all the links and jump to the next piece of text that's bigger than a few characters long, I can type the letter N.
Check out our scanner selection.
If I want to see if there's a form field I can fill, I can hit the letter E for the next editable text.
Search edit scanners.
And there's the search box again. That little pop tells me that it's ready for me to type into it if I want to now. That's called forms mode. It comes on automatically, and I can now type in another search if I wanted to.
Escape.
The internet is actually very easy with JAWS, although sighted people go kind of crazy because they can't quite follow how we're doing it. But it's much faster for me to do some things than it is for sighted people, because I can jump around by headings and things. I don't do the click, click, click thing. My son clicks forever, and by the time he's done it, I've been there for 5 minutes. But people tend to want to click a lot. That's JAWS, and that's the internet. What I want to show you now is something you can all try at home.
Alt F4.
I'm going to get out of this.
Microsoft Outlook. List box. Unread.
Go back to the
Windows
desktop.
M. Desktop. Folder view.
Now,
List view. Your page.
I talked earlier about JAWS and the cost of JAWS. Basically, like I said, it's basically going to cost you close to $1,000
Unloading JAWS.
to buy a
JAWS
copy
dialog.
of JAWS,
Space.
depending on which version you get. If you are out in a public place, say a library, or you go to visit a friend's home, or you do something where you have a computer that doesn't have a screen reader on it, there's a company called Serotech, which has a product called System Access. Now, there are a couple of ways to get this. You can buy it. It's a $395 program, which will give you screen reading capabilities. It also has magnification. We won't talk about that this week. I guess we're going to do low vision next time. But magnification, so if you need the screen enlarged, you can use System Access. You can use it to read the screen if you need it as a screen reader, like we did with JAWS, and it's $395. You can buy it that way. The other way, though, is I'm going to just bring up the run line here, and I'm going to type in a web address, which is www.satogo.com. That's satogo.com. Now, assuming I didn't talk myself out of spelling it wrong, we should hear something here in a minute.
Welcome to System Access to Go. Please press Enter to begin, or press F8 to hear a quick tutorial.
I'm going to go ahead and press Enter.
Please press Alt plus R to continue.
I did that. Now what it's doing is it's taking,
Please press Alt plus R again to continue.
if you log into this site, like I just did, any computer that can get on the internet can do this. Now it's going to take a minute or so. We'll just listen. You'll hear a sound here in a minute. which is the system access version of the Hourglass.
System access to go. Login. Press Alt-H for help. If you have an account with the System Access mobile network, please enter your account number and PIN to login. Otherwise, you may press the Create and System Access to go. System Access to go. Login.
Now, I don't know why I did that, but now I can do one of two things here. I do have a System Access account. I'm not going to log into it, though, and I'm not going to create a temporary one right now because I don't care, but I could. This doesn't cost you anything. I'm going to go over to the desktop now.
Desktop. List. Your pay.
As long as I'm connected to the internet now,
UPS. Size. Smith Barney. Size. Postal Service. Size.
I have a screen reader. I'll go back to Outlook.
Desktop. Inbox. System
Oops,
X.
skip.
Desktop. System X. Desktop. Inbox. Inbox. Microsoft Outlook. Post unread. Post unread. General subject. I wish Twitter would not break things in the name of making it more pretty-sighted folks, period.
Okay, as long as I'm on the internet now, this will give me screen reading access to my computer, just like JAWS did, although it's not quite as fully functional, but most of the things that most people do, to be honest with you, you can do with this. Now, JAWS has a lot fancier features on the internet and a lot of things you can do to customize and really increase your productivity if that's what you're going to do. But if you're just using your computer a little bit or using it at home or at somebody's house, you can do this. I'll go back up to the other one that we
Jones forwarded. Ryan's drunk.
I don't want to read somebody else's email. I don't know what it is yet, so you never know.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Start of document.
Okay, that was the beginning. I'll
Hello
start it.
everyone. We are just about halfway through our push to November 1st, and we have been hearing about a number of successes of...
Okay. Now, as long as I'm logged into the internet here, I have full access. As soon as my internet connection drops, either I log off or the internet connection drops or something happens, I lose my speech. So that's a disadvantage to that particular technique. But it works very well. It's very responsive. There are other things you can purchase if you want. With System Access, you can purchase a scanning package. We'll talk about those in a minute. You can purchase what's called the System Access Mobile Network, which gets you into all kinds of other features, email and other things that you can do. It's really a self-contained little networking system, which works quite well. That's a subscription system, but this is free. This is one you can try right now. And again, that website was www.satogo.com. It's System Access to Go. And because they got a grant from somewhere recently, I forget where, this is a free service right now that you can use. If you create a temporary account, then you can save your settings, such as your speed and other things that you happen to like. So anytime you log on with that account, then that computer will talk at the rate and the pitch and all the things that you set that you liked on there. Okay, any questions?
Desktop. List.
Anybody still out there? They still logged in out there?
They're still logged in.
Okay.
There's no question.
Okay. Either that means I'm really good or they're asleep. So hopefully they're not asleep. I want to show you now I should also tell you that System Access supports another Braille display, not the one that we've got plugged in right here, but one called the BC640 is supported, and that's another whole demonstration. That little Braille display actually can do a lot of things. It's a note taker, a Braille display, a lot of other things, but that you can get Braille with System Access as well. And they actually will be supporting this Braille display and others fairly soon. So that's something that you could do. Again, it's much less expensive. I'm going to show you the iPal. I actually have 3 different systems, but I think you'll get the picture certainly with iPal. There are a number of ways that a blind person can scan and read a document. There are lots of ways to do it with the computer world generally. I want to talk a little bit about the difference between this product. This is called the iPal. I have another product called Kurzweil 1000 and another product called OpenBook, which are all products which will take information, digital information, and put it in a form which will be readable to a blind person or will be spoken out either in speech or in Braille as a blind user. Now, these products are not particularly cheap. I mean, Kurzweil and OpenBook are both $995 each. The iPal, including its software and this camera and everything, is $1995. The question comes up, why should I buy this if I can go out and get a copy of OmniPage for $200? And that's a good question, because there is a difference here, and I guess the way I like to think of it is this. If all you're going to do is normal scanning and things, OmniPage might very well be fine. A program like Kurzweil or OpenBook or iPal, though, is really designed for someone who needs what I consider to be higher volume and more control over their digital information that they get. The scanning part of certainly of Kurzweil and of OpenBook, now not of iPal, because it really is, that's what it does most best, is a picture taking and scanning, but the actual scanning part of Kurzweil and of OpenBook is just one small part of what it will do. In these programs, you can certainly scan a document and you can read it. That's very easy. I do that all the time. I have a scanner at home that'll scan a page in 3 seconds. I can take a book and scan it if I want to, and that works, and that's fine. But you can also do a lot of other things. You can bookmark. You go through and you read the documents. You can bookmark and create notes on the book. Let's suppose it's a college book or some sort of a text material that you need for class or for work or research. If it's a large document, particularly a large document, you can go in, you can type notes to attach to certain parts of the document. You can add audio notes if you want to make a little recording of what you're thinking at that moment. You can summarize. Kurzweil has the ability to actually summarize a document, take it and break it down and somehow figure out how to make a smaller piece of it. You can also take those documents that you have scanned using the voices that are on these and have them create MP3 files, recordings, so you can play them back on your MP3 player if you want to. You can use Braille. You can output them in Braille. You can go on and they have automated downloading features where you can download materials from various libraries around the world and have them read. This is what I consider to be a high volume information management system. So if that's what you want, and if you're a blind user who really needs that kind of productivity, that's why the price is the way it is, because it really is designed as more than simply scanning and reading. Kurzweil will also play audio files, and you can take an audio book, say you have a book on CD or something, you can take an audio book and play it in the Kurzweil software, and you can do the same bookmarking and note-taking things that you can do with a scanned document, which you cannot do easily any other way. This is really a very convenient way to do that. It also lets you speed up the sound or the speech without changing the pitch, so you can read it at a faster speed if you want. I do that all the time on my books that I read on the digital players that I have here. I speed them up quite a lot because I'm just used to listening to it that way. And when I hear them at normal speed, they sound like they're dragging. And so that's pretty normal for most blind folks. A lot of us read that way. So that is why these products cost what they do and why they're different than simply an OmniPage or one of the off-the-shelf packages you get with your scanner. You get a $200 scanner, you're going to get a piece of software that will scan and will recognize, and you could actually have it read things, but it's not going to be something which is going to be real convenient. I do know people who do it, but I think that if you're a high-volume scanner and information manager, it would be much more productive to use this. It's like anything, you know, you get value for that. There's value added there. I'm going to
Start menu. All programs submenu.
go back here
3.
and
Earthlink. Extras and iPal. Opened. iPal.
I'm going to run the
68 of
iPal
68.
program over here.
Taskbar.
And this is
iPal.
this is a device that is plugged into my USB port. It draws power from the laptop, so there's no extra batteries, nothing to plug in. So it draws power from the USB port. It is a camera on a little metal aluminum stand. I guess you can see this, a little aluminum stand. It weighs about a pound. If you you can fold it up, stuff it in your laptop case, your briefcase, or your backpack, or whatever. I just took a picture of this page, and now, assuming we don't have the demo effect, which we sometimes get.
2008 Utah State Schedule / Results. Bat BYD Molten Classic at number 20 Brigham Young VJ, Missouri VI Tulane. WEUR State 5-6 at San Francisco Tubman Monday versus UC Santa Barbara at San Francisco at.
Now, I know this is a schedule of games or something. I am not sports-minded at all. You can, if you can change the pitch and the speed of this, of course. You can save this text if you choose as a text document. So if you're in a library situation or somewhere, I think about this for a student or someone in business who goes into a library. Maybe there's materials you want to take away, or you don't want to grab and drag a bunch of books home. You can set this up and grab the images that you want. We can now save this if we want. We can save it as audio. We can save it as text. We can save it in the format that iPal creates, and we can have it. We can have it read later on. We can use it if we needed to copy the text and use it as something for maybe a document we're preparing. You could copy and paste sections of a document that you have scanned into your document. You can do all those kinds of things, and this thing is like I said, weighs a pound and fits into your backpack. It's really very, very useful and very handy for a blind person on the go. I'm going to get us out of this.
Taskbar. Desktop. List.
Now, the other ones, I want you to hear what they sound like.
Kurzweil 1000.
I would scan something, but I discovered this morning that I didn't have the scanner driver on this particular computer, and I couldn't find the crazy disk for it either, so I didn't get it on there. But I had it on my other laptop, but in order to keep from having to use two laptops for this thing today, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to start Kurzweil because I want you to hear some different speech synthesizers that we have here. Kurzweil uses a couple of different ones, and
Page 1.
Please listen to the following song.
Accept
accept.
license agreement.
I
Note
did.
that this product has not been
yes, thank you. I just installed this on this computer because I realized it wasn't there, so I'm going to
File, folder, scan, settings, tools, has online, help, has a sub-on, tools, setting, voices, opens a dialog.
Review or change reading voice settings.
now we have different voices here.
Show voice settings for English. The selected speech engine is VoiceWare. ED Eloquence. Microsoft. VoiceWare. ScanSoft.
There are a
Incorporated.
lot of different voices.
VoiceWare.
The selected voice is VW Kate.
This is Kate
VW Paul.
and Paul. Those are my two favorites.
The selected speech engine is VoiceWare. ED Eloquence.
Here's Eloquence.
The selected voices read.
Shelley, Grandma, Grandpa,
Some of these kind of crazy ones. Here's Grandpa,
Grandma,
Grandma.
Shelley,
Read.
Jane Tell,
Justin Tell.
Mickey, Gramps,
Don't know why you'd use some of these,
Just
Jane,
read.
but you can use any of them that you want. I prefer the
The selected
VoiceWare
speech
ones.
engine is ETI Eloquence. VoiceWare.
The selected voice is VW Kate. Pitch 10,
and I can change her pitch.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 8, 6, 5, 4, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Now she's a smoker.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. The speed is 170.
And that's words per minute, that 170. We can change that.
The volume is at 80%.
And there's the volume. We can do that.
The pitch will be changed for emphasis.
Now, here's something that says the pitch will be changed for emphasis. That means if it sees, you can set this several ways. If it sees italicized words or whatever, it will change pitch. You can do other things.
Switch to another voice.
So you can have it change to a different voice, so you can be reading along with Kate and then have all emphasized text switch to Paul if you want. That's actually very distracting, I find, but you can do it if you want to.
Speak normally.
I normally leave it on speak normally just because I don't necessarily always care about that.
Test. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious.
Okay, enough of that. This product, again, is Kurzweil 1000. It was started, you may know the name Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil was the man who invented the first reading machine that actually worked for blind people. It actually read out loud. It was the size of a washing machine, and it sort of worked. In about 1976, now we have them pocket-sized. Ray talks about when he used to fly places with the Kurzweil reading machine. Once it got smaller than a dishwasher, he used to have to buy an extra airline seat and strap it in next to him to go to conferences because it was too fragile to be checked or shipped any other way. So things have really changed considerably in the last 30 years or so since I've been involved in all this. This stuff all runs on laptops. It runs on netbooks. That's a question we get often. People who use netbooks, the small little laptops, will run this stuff just fine. And you can have a very nice functioning system that'll fit in your backpack and be very low weight. And you can connect the Braille displays and all the things to them that we've talked about today.
Account number, add a
Get out of this.
account number, desktop, list.
Okay. Do we have any questions so far now? Or am I boring you to death?
There are no questions so far.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll keep on going. I want to. I can show you quickly also
Desktop, OpenBook 8.
the other one here. This is OpenBook. This one is very similar to Kurzweil, especially
Welcome
now
to
that they
OpenBook version 8.0.
now that they updated it. For a while it was not, but it is now, and you can do some things with this that you can do with Kurzweil as well. One of the things
File, edit.
One of the things I like about this particular product is that it is, because it's developed by the same people
Leaving
that
menus.
make JAWS. The company's called Freedom Scientific. Because it's made by those folks, you can set it to use the same keystrokes for reading and navigation as you do in JAWS. So you don't feel like you're in a different program when you start this program. You simply use it just like as if you're in a document somewhere, and so it's familiar to you. That's really handy. It's also nice because it is built or made by the same company, Freedom Scientific. It is something that you can work together with all their products work together. JAWS is their blind screen reading program. They have a program called Magic, which we'll probably talk about in October when we do low vision stuff. Magic is for enlarging. There are also some features like that, and I'll show you some of those real quick in OpenBook. But because they're made by the same company, they're all made to work together, and they all are a combined, really good combination because they are very friendly together, and they work off one another.
File, edit, scan, view,
I'm going
tools.
to go over here to
Launch, advanced settings, save as retrieve, delete, speech and braille, innate general settings, speech set, scanning set, effects set, visual settings.
I'm going to go to visual settings because I wanted you to know that there are some visual features in here that a low vision person can use.
Masking set, visual
I'm gonna
settings,
just show
leaving
you some of
menus.
these.
Visual settings, preferred view, combo box text view, exact view.
Now we have what's called text view and exact view. Both Kurzweil and OpenBook have these. If you scan a document, of course, let's suppose it's a page out of a textbook, you are likely to have 2 columns of text and perhaps a picture or maybe a diagram or 2 pictures mixed in somewhere there with the text. Typically with a program like OpenBook or Kurzweil, because they assume that this is a blind person using the product and that they don't need to see what the page looks like, excuse me, they typically throw those things away. So the diagram and the picture and things don't show up. If you're in text view, what you'll see is the text. You will also not see the columns. The columns will read correctly. It knows how to read the first column being the left column, the second column being the right column, all that. It knows how to do that, but you won't see them laid out on the page that way. But if you are someone who has some vision, or maybe you're a person who is scanning a document for a blind person and you need to make sure that it is saying what it's supposed to and that it's been recognized correctly, you can switch to what's called exact view. And exact view is just what it says. It shows the page just the way it would appear if you had, when you scan it and take up the image of it. The text still sounds the same for the blind user, but a sighted person can then see exactly what's on that screen and know that it's what they scan and exactly whether it's saying what it's supposed to or not.
Font name. Combo box Arial.
And of course, you can change the font. You can set it to have one font if you want to say, I just want to have one font for everything. So anytime you get a different font, just change it to Arial. I don't do that, but you can.
Font size. Combo box 14.
Now, it says it's 14 point. You can change this to be larger.
13. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 28. 30.
Does that actually change on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure. It is for somebody with low vision
14.
who needs to have a little bit bigger. You can make it larger. So this has some low vision features for that as well.
Text color. Combo box black.
You can change the color.
Background color. Combo box white.
You can make the background different color. This is useful for people who have low vision who need contrast.
Cursor text color. Combo box red.
Now, you may not have this problem, but many times a blind person loses the cursor on the page. You look for it if you have some vision. Now, I don't, because I don't care about the cursor, or at least I don't see it. But if I have low vision, and particularly if the print is normal size, I lose the cursor. This way you can change the color.
Cursor background color.
You can change the background
Combo
color of the
box
cursor
yellow.
so you can see it easier, so you can find it.
Left margin. Combo box 0.
And these
Right
are
margin.
margins. I'll get
Character
past this.
spacing. Combo box 0.
Now here's an interesting one, character spacing. This is really for somebody with low vision, and it actually came in from the products that we make for folks with learning disabilities. Sometimes people who have a learning disability may have normal vision, but when they look at a page of print, the words or letters or lines are too close together for them to decipher them. This allows you to spread that out a little bit. You can spread the characters
Word
out.
spacing. Combo
You can
box
do
0.
You can do the
Character
lines, the
spacing.
words.
Word space, line spacing, sentence
You
spacing.
can space out the
Combo
sentences.
box 0.
And right now they're set to 0, which means normal, but you could spread those out to make it easier for you to see what that is.
OK. Button. Out of dialog.
So those are some of the features that appear in OpenBook, and they're in Kurzweil as well. I also have Braille settings. I can read my document in Braille. I can have it translated either into what's called contracted Braille. It used to be called grade 2, but I have to remember it's now the correct term is contracted Braille or uncontracted Braille. Uncontracted is basically what you start off with when you first learn it, and you learn the contracted Braille as you go along. So we can present that material either on a Braille display, like the one on the little Elmo here, or we can also show it or emboss it off on a Braille embosser if you want to. Both of these programs have the ability to send out a contracted document to a Braille embosser if you have one connected to your computer. So you can make a copy for someone to read in a hard copy, if you will. And again, that's something that the other scanning programs wouldn't have. Is that beep for me?
This is Justin from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Who's that?
Justin from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay. Do you have a question?
No, I'm just joining the conference. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
System access to go. Login.
That's the beautiful music that OpenBook plays when you get out of it.
Desktop. List.
Now, I want to show you another thing here. We talked about reading and such. The other things you can also do with both OpenBook and with Kurzweil is you can save the documents a couple of ways. As audio, so you can use those voices to read the document to you. You can save them as text or other things. You can save them to be read on one of these machines here. This is called a Victor Stream, and I'm trying to remember what book I have open, so I make sure I have one that doesn't swear. I'll use this other one because I know this one probably doesn't. This is actually called the BookSense. This is a small book reading device. I've put some material on it. I want you to hear the two different things you can do here. I will plug this in and hopefully we'll be able to do this. Let's see here. It goes over here. All right, now we'll see how this works on the audio. Oh, I've got it logged, I think.
Title Lindbergh/DC. Volume 18.
Now, is that blowing you folks away? I can hear some. I can't hear it a lot. Is that too loud?
Volume 19.
No, we're good.
Okay, is that loud enough?
Yes.
Okay. This little device is one of several new devices that have just come out, which are designed for blind people to read material, whether either recorded material or audio material. I've got two things on this one. My stream has a whole lot more because I'm more used to using that one. I've been using that one for nearly 3 years. The BookSense just came out in July, and so, but I wanted you to hear it because I do like the voice on the BookSense a little better. There are this particular machine has an SD card in it. Let's see if we're on the right one here.
Daisy info dialog. Total mark 0. Daisy info dialog. Total mark 0.
Okay, get out of this.
Close. Document reader. Radio. Media. Audiobooks. Document reader. In touch with Alva V21 Doc. 1 of 1.
Okay, this happens to be a document that I put in here earlier.
1.2. Accessing Alva's internal menus. 8. Lesson 1.3. The settings menu. 9. Lesson 2. Maximizing the benefits of the Alva Braille controller's internal notes application. 6.
Now
Pause.
this was what I mentioned earlier, the BC640 Braille display. This is the manual for that Braille display. I put it in here because I wanted to be able to read it, and I like the speech that this machine has better than the one that the Victor Stream has. I'm not real fond of the Victor Stream speech, and I'll let you hear it in a minute, and you can judge for yourself now that I've biased you all for it. This one has 2 voices. I can change.
Male voice.
Now I have Paul.
16. Lesson 2.1, familiarization with notes. 16. Lesson 2.2, saving, opening, and creating new files. 18. Pause.
I can go back to the female voice again.
Female voice.
Okay. I like to be able to listen to the documents like this. And the one thing about the BookSense that I like is this is a native Word document, a .doc document. I don't know if it reads .docx documents or not.
Lesson 2.1. Notes application. 16. Lesson 2.1. Familiarization with notes. 16. Lesson
get out
2.2.
of this
Saving,
guy.
opening, and creating new files. 18. Lesson radio.
Oh, there's a radio in here too, which
Media.
is useless as far as I'm concerned.
Audiobooks. Folder. 1 of 5. Daisy. Title Lindbergh/DC. Title. Current page 0.
Now
Heading
this-
1. Total mark 0.
this
Time
book
elapsed.
is
0
a
hour.
recorded
0
book.
minute. 0 second.
From the National Library Service for the Blind. I downloaded this book. It's actually on my stream also, but I put it on here.
Not apply to this recording. This version contains markers allowing direct access to major portions of the book.
Library of Congress annotation. The authorized biography of the pilot who became a symbol of the
Now, I'm going to show
aviation
the
age
speeding I can do here. I can change
describes
the speed.
Lindbergh's 1927 transatlantic flight as the defining moment of his life, discusses his role in the development of aviation for use in war and peacetime, explores facets
Got
of Lindbergh's
that?
public and private images. Bestseller, 1998.
I can slow it down.
From the book jacket. From one of America's most acclaimed biographers, author
very
of
slow,
the
put it back to normal.
best-selling lives of Maxwell Perkins and Samuel Goldwyn, here at last is the definitive life of one of the most...
Pause.
This device uses 2 things. Well, this particular version, there's 2 versions of this one that use both of which use SD cards or memory cards. Although this one also has some internal memory. You can put up to a 32 gigabyte SD card in here, which I can tell you the one that I have in my Victor Stream, as I said, has 107 or 8 National Library Service books, and then a whole bunch of other books in it, and it's still just over half empty, or just under half empty. So there's a lot of room left. I could carry a lot of material around. It's really good for those really long airplane flights. When you put that thing in and you've got a 10-hour book and you can just read away and fall asleep if you want. I'm going to show you the other one now. This is called the Victor Stream. This was the first of its type to come out that lets you read these books. The books from the Library Service are actually locked. You have to have a user ID,
Welcome to Victor
a
Reader.
piece of software that actually unlocks the...
The interview room.
Yeah, I better not read that. That's a lot of
Bookshelf.
swear.
Talking books. 109. Books. 88. The interview room.
Now I can just, this is book 88.
89. The Kennedy Curse. Why America's first family has been haunted by tragedy for 150 years.
Let me slow it down a little bit. This is running faster. I keep them this fast.
Speed. 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 3. Speed. 2.
And I can just jump through these books any way I want.
90.
Having said that, every once in a while it decides to not talk to me.
The Mayor of Casterbridge.
There we go. Don't know why.
91.
The Memory Keeper's Daughter.
Okay.
90.
I'll go back to this other one.
89.
The Kennedy Curse.
Is it
Why
probably
America's
won't
first
swear.
family has been haunted by tragedy for 150 years.
And again, I can play this.
The Kennedy Curse. Why America's first family
I
has been haunted by
can
tragedy for
navigate
150
it.
years. Library of Congress. Annotation. Contents. Introduction. An ill-fated house.
I can navigate it by chapter, by phrase, depending on how the book is laid out. These are examples of what's called DAISY books. DAISY is a digital way of storing digital information which makes it more accessible. That is, you can navigate it much like a print book. You can, depending on how the DAISY book is designed or is structured, you can navigate by chapter, by section, by page, by paragraph. It really depends. It depends on the designer of the book, whoever makes the DAISY book. And one of the things that I didn't mention earlier, but you can do, if you use OpenBook or Kurzweil and you scan a document, you can create a DAISY book from it, which is another thing which you could not do with a standard scanning package. You can create a DAISY book and you can mark it up any way you want. So you can create this book, you can mark it up by chapters, you can mark sections, you can mark footnotes, anything you want to, you can mark those up, and then it will create a DAISY file which you can then play on one of these DAISY players. So that technique, I have a book on here that's from Recordings for the Blind and Dyslexic, which is a computer science book, which I can jump from page to page on that one if I want to, because it's a textbook, and sometimes the professor might say, read from page 412 to 418 by tomorrow. Well, you can jump right to page 412 with that one, which you cannot do on some. That really is up to the designer of the DAISY book. Okay, I want to just see if people have questions about these things or anything else that I have talked about today. It's about getting close to 4 o'clock, and I'm not sure. I don't want you to not have a chance to ask any kind of questions you may have, or if there's something I haven't showed you that you'd like to see, please say so.
Carl,
Yes.
so far on the chat there are no questions.
Okay. I don't hear any audio guys either. So let me say a couple of things about how to contact me, and then we'll do some other things here. If you want to talk to me, I do have these products that we've talked about today, plus a lot of other ones. This is just a very small sample of what I have. Hello?
Hello?
Did you have a question?
No, I think my computer is malfunctioning. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. They do that. They have a habit of it sometimes.
Yes.
My company, again, is called Axis. My telephone number, the best number to reach me at is toll-free at 866-824-7885. If you call that number, it will either find me and ring whatever phone I happen to be using, or it will take a message. You can also send a fax to that number if you choose to. You can also contact me by email at Carl, that's K-A-R-L, at Axis Tech. It's AXISTECH.net. What I try to do is a number of things. I try to, first of all, talk with you and or if it's for you or your client or whatever, to try to determine what the best solution or what your problems that you're having is, what you're trying to solve. and try to match up the proper equipment, hardware and software, and the proper information to help you make a decision. I will be happy to sell you things, obviously, but I also will tell you when I think you shouldn't buy something, or that I think, you know, it may not be something you want to have right now, or it isn't going to meet your needs. I get people who call me sometimes who want things, and I say, well, you know, you really have to determine if that's what you really want, and here are the pros and cons that you can use for this. And sometimes people buy them, and sometimes they don't. That's my purpose. I consider myself a consultant in that I try to help people to make those decisions as informed as they can, rather than you know, just buying something by hearing something about it. There
Carl?
are a number of different things that we do. Like I said, we do Braille embossers. You've seen the Braille displays. We have the screen readers. We will talk next month about magnification. We do reading machines, such for magnification and things. And the note-taking devices. We do talking GPS systems, talking cell phone software. I haven't showed you that. I could. Just let you hear how that sounds too. There are a number of ways to make your cell phone accessible nowadays. You can also go out and buy yourself an Apple iPhone if you want to try it. It's accessible now, out of the box. It's an interesting challenge. I had one. I didn't find it to be to my liking, but I know a lot of people who do. And so it's that's a possibility too. The world is really changing as far as access goes, because there are so many more products, so many more people involved and interested in the field of access, that standard issue products are beginning to become sometimes accessible. I say that, and yet sometimes they get worse, because we run into now touch screens and things on equipment where, you know, when we bought our first washer and dryer, when we built this new home we have 13 years ago, it had touch screens on it. We had to take it back because I couldn't do it and my wife couldn't see it, and so we had to take it back because it had these darn touch screens on it. And so, you know, that in that aspect sometimes it's getting more difficult, but there are more products. The Apple products, actually the computers, the Macintosh computers and the iPhone now come with a product called VoiceOver built right into them, and there's a lot of blind folks that are using them. I have not used the Apple myself very much. I've taken some classes and done a little bit in it, but I don't own one. But especially if you've not used it before, if you're not tied to the Windows platform, if you just want a computer, it might be worth looking at an Apple. If it's not something that you are, you know, if you're not a sort of Windows person like I am, it would be harder for me because I'm so used to using Windows. But if I hadn't had any experience or very little, it would make good sense to start off trying a Mac, because it's the same price you pay that your neighbor who bought his Mac paid. It doesn't cost you any more.
Carl?
Yes.
There's a question from Amy. She asks, what is the price of the BookSense and the Victor screen?
The Victor Stream is well, currently the retail price is $349 plus $10 shipping. I actually have some that are at the old price still, because I ended up getting a pile of them before they raised the price. When they're gone, the price will go up. My price is still $329 plus $10 shipping until they're gone. The BookSense comes in two versions. There is the standard, I think it's called that, and then there's the XT version. The XT version, well, you probably could, unless you bought it right away, the price is going to be $495 for that. Right now it's $449 because they had a special till the end of September. But if you'd have to buy it in a hurry to do that. You could do it, but you'd have to. So until the end of September, it's $449 for the XT version, $349. Let's see, is it $349? Yes, $349 for the standard version. The difference is basically this: they both do exactly the same thing, except that the XT version has 4 megabytes of onboard. It's 4 megabytes, 4 gigabytes. I'm sorry, 4 gigabytes of onboard memory. That meaning you can put a book on it without having an SD card. It also has an FM radio in it. It also has Bluetooth audio, so if you have a set of Bluetooth earphones or speakers and this would let you do it wirelessly, you don't have to plug in a headset in. That's in the XT version. The other version does not have any onboard memory, does not have a radio, and does not have Bluetooth. To be perfectly honest, I have an XT version because I thought that way I could show everything. If I were buying one for myself, the radio isn't that hot, to be honest with you. I don't think it is. I don't use FM radio much anyway, but it isn't particularly wonderful, that great of a radio, I don't think. And there may be people out there who will argue with me, but that's fine. If they want to have it, fine. I don't find it that useful. Bluetooth audio is okay, although I don't really mind plugging a headphone into it. So, you know, it really depends. The onboard memory would be nice because occasionally if you don't have an SD card, but I typically keep SD cards in my machines. So that's the price of those two units at this particular moment. And as of October 1st, the BookSense standard will be $399 and the XT will be $499.
Carl?
Yeah.
This is Everett Bacon.
Hey, Everett.
I have a question on what's your opinion, or if you were going to choose a device for Braille and you had an option of a note taker or doing a smaller netbook with a Bluetooth Braille display, what would you choose and why?
Boy, that is a tough question because there's a lot of reasons. If you're asking me personally,
yeah,
what I would choose personally? Personally, I would choose a computer and a Braille display. And the reason is this for me. Excuse me. I'm used to using my computer. I use my laptop for everything. I don't even use a desktop computer anymore. My entire office is on my laptop, so I'm used to that. And I would use a Braille display, either Bluetooth or USB. Frankly, I don't care if it's Bluetooth or not. Bluetooth is nice, but I don't get that far from my computer with my Braille display anyway to really need a Bluetooth display. The advantage, of course, is you do have fewer cables, but to me, I don't mind plugging it in, although it's nice to have it if you want to use that. The note taker, though, it really depends. There's a lot of things that go into this decision. That's why I said that's what I would do. Now, I can say that having, you know that I own all the note takers that there are, pretty much, and a computer, so I can do whatever I want, however I want to do it. Most people don't have that choice, and so you have to make a choice as best you can, because most people that decide you made a mistake. A note taker, however, is on the new 8. The Braille note is somewhat less, but still quite a bit on a good new charge. The Braille note and PackMate units are one unit. They do a lot of things. You can write your emails, you can write your document, you can keep your contacts, you can synchronize them with Outlook, you can do all those things. You know, that's a handy way to do things. I just personally find that for me, I just use my computer and a Braille display.
Thank you.
Other questions? Anybody still logged on out there?
I think they're still logged on.
Good.
No questions as far as the chat goes.
Okay. Let me talk a little bit about some general topics here, if you don't mind. If you have questions, please ask them. But I want to just talk a little bit about some general topics that might be useful. I don't know how many of you out there are sighted, or if there are some blind people or whatever. But one of the things that you might just be interested to know is, you know, there are things that we do as blind users in the ways in which we interact with a computer, which are different than the way a sighted person would do it. And what's interesting is, for example, if I go to my desktop.
Desktop. List. OpenBook 8.0.
Oh, I'm not plugged in.
1.36 KB. Type. Shortcut. Date modified. 9/23/2000.
9748.
I forgot I had disconnected myself. Now, if somebody said to me.
List. OpenBook 8.
If somebody says to a low vision person or a sighted person, go up there and click on the post office. I want to ship a package, and I want to go to the post office icon. I can arrow all over the screen.
Driver 10 recycle computer.
If I want to. Or I can simply type
133.
P.
Postal Service, size 900.
Now, SA to go is telling me a lot more than I want to know, but I can jump right there immediately by typing the first letter of the thing I want. I can type P again.
Postal Service, size
Must be the only one I have.
Postal Service,
I'll type
size
M.
900. Magic 11.0. Mozilla Firefox, MP3 Direct Cut.
I'm simply typing the first letter of the thing I'm looking for. Now, I have a strategy here because one of the things that I do, if you for example, put a lot of things on your desktop, such as Outlook and Word and Excel, if you do it the normal way, what you'll get is Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Outlook. I go in and delete and edit those icons or edit those shortcuts to get rid of the word Microsoft, because I know they're Microsoft and I don't really have to be told that every time. But I also don't want to have to press M 45 times to get to what I want. So I now can type O.
Outlook, size.
To go to Outlook if I want, instead of typing M for Microsoft Outlook. That's the way I do it if I want to jump around the desktop. That works in a lot of places, and a lot of people don't realize that it's available that way. If I go to my hard disk,
size,
the shortcut I have on my desktop, I'll go here.
Carl Smith 2C, list, A, date not.
Now let's say I want to go to something that starts with O. Well, let's say J.
John and Carolyn Goodman docs.
Immediately type the letter J, and that's the first thing that starts with J. And there I am. I didn't click down this thing. There are, let's see.
Date modified.
Whoops.
7. Date modified.
I used the JAWS
Intel,
command.
date, icons, date modified. 5 icons, date
Let's see here what we
modified.
got here.
5/13/2009, 8:36 p.m. Type, file folder. 25 of 119.
Okay, there are 119 things in this list. If I had to arrow down and try to find something that started with L in the middle of this, it would be a long time, or click my mouse or something like that. It would be a nuisance.
Less35.dx.
Right now I can simply type L.
Less 8-9.dxp. Lesson 8-9.dxb. Less 35.dx.
And those are the three things that start with L that I had here. P.
PR374.mp3. Date.
Something else. So I can jump around like that on my computer without having to do all those clicking things with the mouse. Keyboard shortcuts, you can set those up. I have one set up right now for Word, Control-Alt-W.
Taskbar.
We'll bring up
Document
Word.
1 Microsoft Word. Blank.
Right now, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to go hunt for it. I don't have to do any of that. I simply set a hotkey. That is a standard Windows function. None of this is special to my use of it. It is just the way it works. A lot of people just don't realize that stuff exists. So I think as a blind user and as a sighted person working with blind people, I have found that there are some sighted people who work with us who've discovered, gee, that keyboard thing is a lot better than clicking around with this mouse all day long. I can do the things that you do. I can copy, and I can copy multiple things, and I can paste them, and I can do all that stuff with my keyboard, just like you would with a mouse, and it's really much quicker. And the advantage of that, of course, is what my goal is to try to increase my productivity. And if I don't have to click down there or arrow down 129 items to get to something, then I'm doing it faster. And the goal of what I try to do with folks is to make sure that their productivity is as high as it can be. Because whether you're in a class or on the job, if you can, you have to be able to compete with your sighted peers out there, whether they're your fellow students or fellow employees. You need to be able to find ways to compete, and that's really part of what we try to do with the products that I sell, is to make sure that there are ways that you can learn and techniques you can learn which will help you to compete equally, because these techniques sometimes are better. The good thing about Vista, I'm using Vista on my computer. I'll probably go to Office or to Microsoft or Windows 7 here in the next couple of months, but Vista doesn't really require an awful lot of modifications or changing of settings. Windows XP required a number which made life easier for screen reader users. Vista, really don't have to do a whole lot of it, although I've done a few, but you don't absolutely have to do that. Other questions?
There are no questions on the chat.
Okay. Let me just show you one last thing I have here, which is just, again, we have so many products here we could do a lot of things on. I don't want to, you know, we could do basically a class on any of these if you wanted to, but I realize that's not the purpose here. I want to show you, we talked about cellular phones and their accessibility.
Select enhancement. Headphones. Select. Use phone microphone.
Can you guys hear that?
Offline. We 09/23/2009.
Yes.
Okay, it's pretty low for me. Is it loud enough for them?
I can turn the volume up.
Yeah, I just need a little more volume over here so I can hear what's happening here.
Carl,
Yes.
can I interrupt you really quick?
Sure.
For those of you that joined us after we got started with the training, if you would like to ask a question, just click on, in your upper left-hand corner of your screen, there is a link that says UATP Ask a Question link. Click there and you'll be able to type in a question for Carl to answer. Thanks.
Okay. This is a standard Nokia N82 cell phone, and I have a program on here. There are two available. I actually have both of them on here, but I'm running one right now called Talks, T-A-L-K-S. Basically what this does is it allows me as a blind user to have access to the things on the cell phone that sighted people have been doing for a long time. I was frankly surprised because I used to have, I've had a cell phone for, well, I think I got my first one in around 1995 or so. Had one of those bricks, you know, that you kept on your belt, looked like you were in the Army. And I could dial it and I could answer it, and that's what I did. And I did that up until just a few years ago. And I didn't understand what the falderall was about why you needed to have any more on there, because I could certainly answer and I could certainly dial it. Well, then once I got some software that made the thing talk to me, I realized how much more things one could do with one cell phone.
Screensaver. Offline. We 09/23/2009.
Now I have this one offline. I can now check
Talks. Headset. Battery 7 bars.
my battery status. I could never do that before. You know, is that a big deal? Well, it is if your battery's dying. It may not be if it isn't, but it sure is nice to know. I can go to my contacts.
Select. Pavithran Sachin. Mobile +1 left parent 435 right parent 5 back. Contacts. Tab sheet 1 of 2. Pavithran Sachin. Text.
Sachin Pavithran, that's his contact. I may have broadcast that over the whole world, Sachin, I don't know, but I have those.
PC laptops. Penderona. Perks Perry. Peterson Merlee. Pipkin Sharon.
These are the people in my contact list. I can open up these and call them. I can send them text messages. I can check my calendar. I can send and receive emails. I mean, you know this because you guys have done this for a long time, but I've never done it. And that, to me, is really exciting. If somebody calls me,
offline. We 09/23/2009.
because I put it in offline mode, but if they do call me, I can hear who it is before I answer. How nice that is. I can decide not to talk to somebody if I want to, like you guys do. I don't have to answer and then wish I hadn't. So, you know, these are features which are really very handy for everybody, and I just didn't realize how nice it was to have such a thing until I got this software. This is called Talks. The other one is called Mobile Speak. Mobile Speak comes in several flavors. It runs on this kind of phone, which is a Nokia Symbian, works in a Symbian operating system phone. You can get it for smartphones or for pocket PC phones. The Talks product right now only works generally on the Symbian Nokia type phones. I use it. Everett over there that I talked to a minute ago, he uses Mobile Speak on. He has the very same phone as I do, and he uses Mobile Speak on it, and has used that before on other phones. So it's a product which is very handy, and it certainly would be. It's certainly nice for us as blind folks to have the same features and things that you guys have had for a long time that I didn't realize will be quite as fun as they are.
Carl.
Yes.
We have another question.
Okay.
Lois is wondering about GPS devices available for blind users. She asks, how reliable are they, and how often are they used?
You know, it's interesting. I have been involved with, or at least known about, GPS devices for the blind since about 1994. My friend Mike May has a company called Sendero Group, which creates and designs GPS products for the blind. Mike has been, in my mind, he is sort of the blind GPS guru. He's been involved in this longer than anybody I know, and he started out with what was called the Strider, which was a big honking 1994 laptop in a backpack and a hockey puck sized GPS receiver that one clipped to one's shoulder and plugged into the laptop, and also you plugged in a set of speakers and a little keyboard that came out around and hung around your neck so you could type in things, and you looked a little bit like Martians or something coming down the street using that. Mike used it. He's always been fascinated with being able to get this information. Not to make this a long story, but we finally have gotten down to where we have it in very small pieces. The Sendero group that Mike runs puts out 2 versions of their system. One is called, it runs on the Braille note taker, which is made by Humanware. The other one runs on the smartphone, cell phones. It is actually produced by the same people that produce Mobile Speak, but they have licensed the Sendero GPS product to interface with the cell phone. As far as how much it's used, it's beginning to be a lot more than ever before. I didn't have a Strider because I wasn't going to spend the $5,000 it took to buy it at the time, and I didn't want to have to walk around with all that equipment hanging on me. But as time has gone by and the products have got smaller, we have those 2 that I mentioned. We have one called Trekker, which is actually a small product that runs on a PDA. I didn't bring that one with me today, but it runs on a PDA, and it's pocket size. There's another one called the Trekker Breeze, which is a simplified version of Trekker, which is designed for people who just want information to help them get from home to the store or whatever. They can record things to let them know where they are at different times. That one is not one you can sit down and plan routes with and so forth. The Sendero ones and the Trekker are probably the 2, and I think Sendero probably would be at the top of the heap as far as really getting in and planning and designing routes before you go somewhere. There's another one which is actually on my phone. I don't have a GPS receiver with me today, and I suspect we wouldn't have much luck with it in here anyway. But it's called Wayfinder Access, and it is a product that runs on the Nokia phone, and I've used it in the car and also walking around. It is not quite as friendly as the Sendero products or the Trekker products are, simply because it wasn't designed for the blind generally. It is one which was adapted. But you know, people are beginning to use these a lot. There are some, I think it's Leader Dogs for the Blind in Michigan, which will give you a Trekker if you come and take their training and stuff. They are really beginning to use these in their training with blind students, and it is really becoming a lot more popular because of the size and the information. There are literally millions and millions of points of interest and things in there. I'm amazed. In fact, when I got my update to my Sendero product about 1 or 2 updates ago, I fired it up and put my home address in it, and guess what it said? My office is in my home, and it said Axis. Had my company name and my phone number in there. I thought that was pretty neat, and that's what the kind of things you can do. You can really develop and get information. And I find when I'm riding down the road and running the thing, I'm amazed at things I didn't know were there. And even in places where when I lived somewhere, I didn't realize this place was there or right over here. You can really find out information, even if you're not traveling always with it. You can use the map features and discover things you didn't realize that there even were out somewhere right nearby you. So it's actually becoming a lot more popular. I should tell you the pricing of those varies. Wayfinder Access is probably the cheapest, although it's a little bit of a misnomer. It's $3.95 to buy the software, but you have to have an internet plan on your phone to use it, which is probably $20-30 a month, so it can add up in a hurry. The Mobile Geo, which is the Sendero product running on the smartphones, runs $895. The Sendero product running on the Braille Note product runs $15.95, so it does add up to some money. Other questions?
There are no more questions on the chat feature.
Okay. Well,
And it's about that time to wrap up.
We've got about 20 after 4 now, or a little bit after. Again, my phone number is 866-824-7885. If you have any questions dealing with any kind of products for the blind, give me a call. If I sell them and work with them, I'll be happy to help you with it. If I don't, I'll be happy to direct you in the right direction. I do that a lot of times. People will ask me questions. I can usually tell you where to find something, or if I don't know, I'll find out for you. And I can generally find information for you on the different topics. If you are interested in having me come to your site, I don't know what kind of people we have out here, if you're in schools or rehabilitation offices or businesses or you're individuals. If you're interested in having me come to show you a product, or if you have questions about how a certain product may or may not help you in what you're doing, I do come to your home or your business or your school. There's no charge for that. I'm happy to come out and do free demonstrations. We also do short training, not full-fledged training, but short little sort of orientation type groups if people want to learn about a specific product or have questions about one. I'm happy to come and do that. I cover all of the state of Utah. I also go into Idaho and Wyoming, and would be happy to do that. And if you have those questions, if you didn't have them today, please feel free to give me a call, and I'll be glad to call you back and try to help you in the decision-making process, whatever it is that you're trying to get there. It's a pleasure to have been involved here today, and I hope, I know there weren't a ton of questions. I hope that all of you are still awake out there, and if not, somebody will come along and wake you up when you log off. Appreciate it, and if you do have any other questions, I can stake a couple more if you have any. So,
Thanks, Carl.
thanks, Everett.
Thanks, Carl. And this is Heather again. I just wanted to remind you once again to be sure to fill out the evaluation and send that back to me. You can either download the evaluation from the AggieCast website. It's in the upper left-hand corner. It says UATP AT Demonstration Evaluation Form. I also emailed it out to everybody yesterday. And if you absolutely don't have any other way of getting it, let me know and I can email it to you again. Also, this training will be archived on the Utah Assistive Technology Program's website, and when that is archived, I will email that out to everybody. And as Carl mentioned during the training today, he will be doing another training on low-tech assistive technology for the blind on October 14th from 3 to 4:30. That's October 14th from 3 till 4:30. Thanks for participating.